So, the medic class. One of the most overpowered classes in the game, and some would say a necessity to actually play Battlefield 5. From being able to heal yourself basically non-stop to having some of the best weapons in the game. Now, in this video I wanted to go over some of the weapons that you should be using, and there are quite a few of them. Now, I know I've gone over stuff like the ZK and stuff before. I wanted to highlight some other weapons while still also highlighting the ZK. Now, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you like this content, but before I ramble on even more, let's get into the weapons that you should be using on Battlefield 5. Now for the first one, some of you may agree or disagree, but I believe the M3 Grease Gun is honestly quite up there and maybe my top 3 at least. The SMG packs quite a punch, but does lack in rate of fire and bullet velocity, but 100% makes up for that, especially with the suppressor. This stops the enemies actually knowing where they get shot from, and doesn't actually give them an icon at all, so they have to guess based off sound, which it does make very little of. Now let me know what you think of the Grease Gun, whether you're going to try it out, whether you have tried it out. These are the specializations on the screen now if you want to try it out for yourself, but let's head on to the next weapon. The next weapon is one that you've probably died to many times, may have even raged at it or pulled it out yourself to be a little bit toxic, and that is the Type 2A. This gun is extremely overpowered and to be honest shouldn't even be in the game with its extremely high fire rate, good hip fire, and literally just all-roundness to absolutely beam anyone. Now, if you see me in the server, don't use this weapon, thank you, but jokes aside, even if you do, abuse this weapon on our margin underground. It's an absolute killing machine and literally outguns everything at close range apart from a shotgun. It's easy to use, I'd say it's noob friendly, and any specialization setup works with it extremely well. But if you want to use these certain specializations when you give it a try, feel free. But let me know your opinion. This is the one weapon I want to know your opinion on. Should it be in the game? Should it not? But before we ramble on and rage about this weapon even more, let's head on to the next one. You've probably all seen before, it's my most used weapon, and it's the ZK383. You can't have a video or a list without this weapon on it. Its overall balance just makes it the best medic weapon in the game. It can do close, mid, long range, good fire rate, quick reload, and its recoil is honestly a lot more manageable than some of the lower fire rate weapons, which, to be honest, I want your opinion on. It shouldn't be a thing. A lot of the low fire rate weapons just are honestly so bad just because they have high recoil for literally no reason, but that's for another video. Now, if you want to use the ZK383, these are the best specializations and ones that you should be using, but I'd 100% recommend giving this medic weapon a try. You may be bored of it because you see it everywhere, then some of the other weapons on this video / list are definitely ones for you to use, but you can't have a list without the ZK383. Now, the Swami, a gun you don't see much use of anymore in public lobbies, even though it is extremely good and probably one of the top 3 medic weapons that this game has to offer. I especially recommended the Tommy gun over it, but recently I've kind of, I guess, fallen in love a little bit more with the Swami just because of its higher fire rate, while still maintaining the 50 bullet magazine. It has good hip fire, its recoil is manageable, though not as easy as some of the other weapons that are on this list. But it's definitely a medic weapon that you should give some more love to, and should be using on those close range maps like Almage, Underground, and Devastation. On long range maps, the Tommy gun would be a great alternative, so if you're struggling with recoil, the Tommy gun is a close second. Now if you want some specializations for the Swami, I'd recommend these if you want to give it a go, but let me know your opinion of this weapon. And before we ramble on any more about this, let's head into the last one. Now, the next weapon may surprise all of you, and that is the MAB-38, or the MAB, as most people call it. Now, this weapon is not used at all in pubs. I very rarely see this used other than by people on PC. Baronox is one to say. This gun has an extremely good hipfire reticle, as you can see on screen now, and is a gun you don't even need to ADS with. Fires at 600 rounds per minute, has a relatively good reload, and is a weapon I recommend if you really like hip firing and struggle to ADS and fire and move all at the same time. This is a weapon that is definitely for you, and even if you like ADSing, I'd try this one out because you can hip fire, run like strafe at an extremely high rate, and your reaction times are just a lot better than enemies. Now if you want to try out this weapon, these are the specializations that I would recommend. You want to go hip fire with this weapon, or you will get outgunned by other weapons on this list like the Swami, Grease Gun, ZK, etc. Now while I teased some clips for an upcoming sniper montage, that was my list of all the medic weapons that you should be using on Battlefield 5. Let me know your opinion on them and whether or not you're going to be trying them out. But if you need any help on other guides like settings, recoil control or anything else, then the guide on screen will be very helpful. But I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.